Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar with your boy. We're going to be breaking down the futures contract per usual. We're going to go over the ES. We're going to go over the NASDAQ, review some destinations to the upside as I do believe those will be very important just from the way that we closed out today. Very strange day to say the least. Very tough day for me. Just to touch a little bit on how I traded today, and it was not very good. I been battling, man. Been battling. That's the funny thing about this journey. I'm definitely still very new to this lifestyle, very new to this profession, this hobby, and it's something that is definitely, it's a mental game more than it is trading sometimes. And right now I'm battling, man. I am battling. We are going to war with myself and the markets right now, and the markets are winning. As I took some pretty good losses today. I made one good trade yesterday. Today's trading session did not go the same. Missed out on majority of the move to the downside, and then when we did pop up, I attempted to get short, got stopped out. We pulled back. I attempted to get long. I got stopped out. So, overall, very poor trading day for me. And I'm sure other people were struggling as well. And I think for me, a lot of it had to do with FOMO, fear of missing out. As I, missed most of this move here, I was like, you know what? They ripped up. I'll get short. They'll rip right back down, right? And I couldn't allow myself to just step away, not take a single trade today after the initial losses earlier in the morning. But yes, been a struggle, and I don't doubt that it's been a struggle for other traders out there as well. For those that do make money in this environment, kudos to you, hats off to you. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to be a better person, better trader. And that is, why I continue to make these videos more or less for myself versus for other people. I mean, if you find value in it, then good. However, for me, it's more of a self-reflection and review. All right, enough about my rant. Let's go ahead and get into it. We went not trend down, but we basically drifted lower all day today. Nothing changed. Right, we continue to one time frame down in our daily time frame. We opened above that spike point where we spiked down lower yesterday and then kind of moved down lower, right? 43.21.75 was the line in the sand. We opened just above that, got below it, and once we did, we started the one time frame down and then never stopped one time framing down until J period, right? Never stopped one time framing down until J period. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 time frames. We continued to just drive straight down. We had one set of single prints that we held early on. And then we had another set that eventually got filled later in the afternoon. And then that is what caused a vicious short rallying to the upside for both the NASDAQ and the ES. NASDAQ was a lot more wild as they had a literal V-shaped recovery to the upside and took out their previous high on the day before rolling back over and just kind of giving it all up. I feel bad for all the buyers up here, just like me, getting involved with the FOMO and got absolutely smoked. So I was one of those people. I was long ES and NASDAQ and got absolutely demolished. So FOMO definitely got to me. But, we live and we learn. Hopefully I'll learn more and I continue to live, and continue to grow in this game. And then look today, like we kind of just battled. Once we popped up above that 43.21 level, we didn't really push back above it in period the last time frame of the day. So we do continue to one time frame down on the daily. However, the way we pushed up off the lows here after taking out the previous day's low, the way we pushed up off the lows with this vicious move up, brings me to think that, if tomorrow we do not take out today's low, if tomorrow we cannot take out today's low, and even if we do and don't get much for it, something tells me we're going to be putting this market back into a balance, and then maybe start getting some of these upside destinations, and then even potentially into the gap ups on the upside. I would be very, very surprised, especially the way this market reacted today, if we continue to drift lower, and then do get to that 200-day moving average I was discussing in yesterday's video. So today we only end up with our high of day and our low of day. No wide point of controls, no afternoon pullback lows, no afternoon rally highs, just the high and the low. All right, so the only trades that you really could have been taking today were against the previous time frame's high. That is going to be the only trade of, once you started one time framing down, you got the overnight low. One time framing down, you take a short against each and every time frame's high, and you were looking good. You take the short against the single prints here, you take the short against the high here, it rolls over, right? You take the short against the single prints, it rolled over a little bit, you take profit. But once we stopped the one time framing down, the short was over, and there really was no reason to get involved, as the way that we did push up was a lot of volume behind that move to the upside. Of course, momentum buying and short covering were the fuel for that. But once again, going out with the day's high and the day's low, upside destinations 43.31.75 today's high. If we open above that tomorrow, can only assume we'll get above our afternoon rally high 43.35.50. Next upside destination would be 43.54, and then there's a vacuum to that magnet at the 10Y point of control here at 43.67. Then you have 43.80.25 high day from the 25th, and then a pretty large move up to 43.99. Now, like I said, once short covering begins and we do put ourselves back into a balance, depending on how much we go up, will determine how large the balance is. So remember, keep that in mind. If we cannot take out today's low and continue to push lower with any tempo or volume, then chances of us putting ourselves back into a balance prior to the end of the month are pretty good. Anybody that went home short these last several days since breaking out of that double inside week to the downside that we were discussing in yesterday's video, they're banking in profits right now. They got to be taking profits at this point, especially coming into the last 2 days of the trading week and month. So there you have it for the ES. Now let's go ahead and look at the NQ. Let's look at the NASDAQ, and then we'll review their daily charts as well, looking at the SPY and the Qs. Same thing, except for this is in the 15-minute. Let me pull up the 30. Same exact thing for the Qs today. Basically did not stop one time framing down until J period, right? They continue to drive lower after getting the initial balance low, the overnight low. They just continue to push lower and lower. Did not stop one time framing down at all. Then they continued to push lower before finally getting that vicious rally. And off the lows, I mean, nobody caught the bottom, but off the lows, I mean, that is a 230 point rally. That is just absolutely insane. Okay, 230 points to the upside for the NASDAQ after coming off the lows. I mean, you definitely could have taken the long once you stopped the one-time framing down in J period. Once K period opened up and we took out H's, or excuse me, yeah. After we took out J and H's highs here, definitely could have gotten long and then caught the upside move to at least the opening, and you would have made some pretty good money. Now, there was no way in heck that you thought we were going to get the day's high like we did today, but we did exactly that and set a new high on the day before closing it out just in the middle of the balance, or in the middle of the day's range. So NASDAQ for the upside, if we do not, same concept, if we do not open up and take out the day's low or below it and get much for it, you will come back into a balance at some point to the upside. So your upside destinations are today's high at 821.50, 846.25 yesterday's high. Then you have the 10 or the 11 wide point of control up here at 14,891.75, and then you have the high day there at 14,939.25. Afternoon rally high 14,978.75, and then where the gap starts, high of day from the 22nd, 15,27.50. All right, so those will be your upside destinations, and don't think because I mean if you were to take today's trading range and stack it on top, if you were to get the exact same range for tomorrow, you're going to be getting yourselves back into the gap and potentially filling it. So if we had the exact same trading range today, that's going to be it, right? Same concept for ES. Maybe not as much you're going to take back because we've been pushing down lower pretty good, and ES tends to be less volatile. But you're looking at putting yourselves back into an initial 4-day balance if we take out tomorrow's high. Let's go ahead and look at the larger time frames just to reiterate. We'll look at the ES real quick. Daily continues to one time frame down. All right. Daily continues to one time frame down. We do have the gap below down here where around the 200-day moving average is at 42.25. The gap is around the 42.40 level. So if we put ourselves back into a balance, determining how we put ourselves back into that balance will kind of, the question is which gap gets filled first, this upside gap here or the downside gap here, where the 200-day moving average will be hovering right around. All right, so there you have it for the daily on the ES. Now let's look at the SPY and the Qs real quick. Qs, all right, Qs. We'll start with the Qs here. Daily. Look at how this is that monthly balance that we were talking about in yesterday's video. Look at how we've gotten just below 354, and we stretched it by about $3 to the downside, and so far we've come back into it. Now tomorrow and at the end of the week, if we end up closing above 354, I'm just going to say that the monthly for the Qs is going to be in balance. They've just stretched it at this point. Okay, so if we close above 354 by the end of the month and have ourselves back into some type of balance on the daily, and I think we'll just say that the monthly is stretched at that point, and they have a pretty good chance at filling that gap and then back testing the 20 and the 50-day moving average at some point in the future. So daily still one time framing down, 3 days in a row now, looking to put themselves back into a balance. Now let's look at SPY. SPY, not everything, has been one time framing down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Their 200-day moving average is at 418.61. Okay, so we've gotten near it. We were within a couple bucks from it, right? Today's low was 22. We were within roughly $3.70 of that 200-day moving average. Is this a great target, great area for, especially if you took the short right here at 49, right? You're in the money pretty good, right? And if your target was near the 200-day moving average, you're in the money about $20 on this move to the downside. So definitely would begin covering here. And then obviously, if we stop the one time framing down tomorrow by taking out today's high, or even if we take out today's low and push a little bit lower, I would not be surprised to see us start to cover. Anybody that was short up here will now be covering, and anybody that wants to buy near the 200-day moving average, this would be a good area to begin a position, right? So keep that in mind going forward. Would not be surprised to see us put ourselves back into an initial 4 or 3-day balance. We'll see how that goes by the end of tomorrow. Once again, wear your hard hats. Try to hit base hits. Don't hit homers. You're going to miss. You'll strike out and end up doing what I did today, which is take some pretty hefty losses. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll catch you in the next one. See you.